Hey guys, it's Viewmaster's Reactions, and we're back with Delicious in Dungeon, episode 12, the finale. It's supposed to come out at 8:30. I don't know why it isn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I looked it up multiple times on different sites, and it said 8:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Pacific Time, and 1:30 p.m. London Time. I know that usually shows drop at midnight, some drop at 3 a.m., some drop whenever, and this one is apparently a weird time, 8:30. I feel like that is when Vox Machina or something came out, so sometimes they come out at weird times. All I know is it is 8:52 and we're still not there. I'm thinking maybe it's 9 a.m. or that Netflix is just really delayed. I keep refreshing the screen, and as you can see, it isn't there. It says available March 21st, which is today. It's making me think I'm crazy. Like, I was like, am I on the wrong day? There's been times where I've jumped into this chair on the wrong day and I'm sitting here waiting and I'm like, what the hell? There's also times like Gremlins, the animated show, which if you haven't seen is amazing, I think. I think it is the greatest prequel we could have for what it is today in today's age, like with, reboots and remakes and prequels and sequels. That would come out like 45 minutes, an hour late every week. HBO Max couldn't get their shit together. It was also the very first show that launched the day HBO became Max. So I don't know, maybe that was the problem. But we're gonna do an intro, and then it'll be 9 o'clock, and then hopefully this thing will be on. If not, we'll take a break, and I'll just do it in two separate videos. Last we saw Laios and team Senshi and Chilchuk and Marcel, we all had a plan to take down the Red Dragon. I'm assuming this episode is going to be called Red Dragon 2. As you can see, they didn't title it yet because it is a mysterious mystery. Either way, Red Dragon 2 is probably what it's going to be called. None of our plans worked. We went all around the town. We're dipping through alleys and shit like that. And we crushed it with the rubble like we wanted to. It immediately jumped out of the rubble, crushed Senshi's body. I don't even know how Senshi was able to move. I feel like Senshi should have died on impact. The foot crushed his body. We heard bones cracking. Then Chilchuk came in, got a concussion because a giant piece of rock fell on his head. And Senshi got Laios the sword. Laios regroups with Marcel and is like, all right, here's the plan. My plan is I'm going to jump into the dragon's mouth, basically, using your blast. So Marcel blasts him using the shield pot. We go into the dragon's mouth. The dragon bites his leg off. I said at the end of the episode, was his intentions to hang drop under the jaw? Because we hit the inverse scale, take down the dragon, Laios loses his leg, and then we get a flashback. We see him and Fallon as children. We see them go to a cemetery. We see how Fallon has an ability to contact or communicate with ghosts. There's a bond with this ghost. The ghost is like, release me of this bond or something like that. We see it has a ring. It got the ring from an elf. Someone in the group that's with them is like, oh, I remember that guy bragging about a ring. Right away, I'm thinking the ring is the thing because the ghost came at Laios and it was like very obvious. In my reaction, I was like, is it the ring? Because that's all I could say. It's bonding me. There looks like a ring. What ghosts wear rings? All the ghosts I've seen in my life don't wear rings. We end up figuring it out. Fallon saves Laios as children. And then we get the whole little end of the flashback. We go through the stomach of the dragon. We go through it, the intestines. We are ripping this thing apart with the mithril knife, which did come into play in a sack that Laios describes as the fuel in which to ignite the dragon fire. The dragon clicks its tongue. Very cool. I've never seen that before. I've probably seen 100 movies and shows, if not more, with dragons. I've never seen one that I could remember. I've seen ones where dragons like click, but they never really explained it or I forgot. But they click their tongues and it's sort of like a lighter going like chick, chick, and they ignite the fuel in their belly that they save. Bones and flesh and what have you of their victims. And up until that point, we saw bones and stuff, but Laios and them were saying it was more so the bones and remains of aminals. We end up finding a human skeleton. At the very end, we cut open the sack. We find a long white hair. Looks like Fallon's. They're obviously trying to make it look like Fallon, and it probably is Fallon's hair. But is the skeleton? I can't imagine the skeleton is Fallon, because that would mean that since episode 1, our entire journey was for nothing. If we got this far, it would be a shocker, and it would definitely be unexpected. But I'm thinking because it ended on that moment, they're trying to be like, gotcha. Like, why? Like, I mean, it's possible either way at this point. I don't know anything about the manga, so I have no spoilers. I just know that we found a human skeleton, and that's how we ended it. We ended it on the skeleton, and everyone's like, Fallon! Like, you're assuming it's Fallon. The dragon is running rampant through this dungeon. It is very possible another human being has crossed paths. We were saying the dragon was in this town earlier and ripping through everything, so it is very possible someone else wandered through here and was eaten by the dragon. So that's it. I'm talking extra long and I'm purposely wasting time because I'm hoping the episode comes out, and as you can see, it still hasn't, but it's not 9 o'clock yet. I'm gonna talk 3 more minutes is 9 o'clock. I said
What
this.
would you like to eat instead?
What would you like to eat instead? I was saying earlier, I'm gonna restart the whole thing at 9 o'clock. I was saying earlier, I never watch these live. I always would get up around, well, not get up, but I would get to the computer around 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, and the episode would already be here. So I was thinking it came out at 3 a.m., but then I looked it up, and it said 8:30 a.m. It says 8:30 Eastern. I just looked it up again like 5 minutes ago before I jumped on here. So unless that's wrong, I'm hoping it's 9. If it's not, we'll cut this video short, and I'll just jump into the episode as soon as it's there. And honestly, it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because my sister had turned off the microphone and I did like a 5-minute intro, and I was sitting here waiting, and then I was like, you know what, let me edit up the intro while I'm waiting. And I was like, there's no sound. So had I done the entire episode, it wouldn't have recorded. So it was almost half a blessing because I fixed everything, and as you can see, we're now talking to each other. But we're down to 1 minute and 30 seconds. If it's not on by 9 o'clock, like I said, we'll just split this up. I'm trying to think if there's anything else we should talk about. I mean, at this point, there's 1 episode left. They're roughly 22 minutes if you cut out the credits and stuff. I'm assuming we're going to find out that's not Fallon. But if that's the case, I also think we're not going to find Fallon. I feel like if it's either Fallon's dead, or season 2 is going to be a new journey of trying to discover Fallon. We're going to find some sort of secret or some sort of clue that points us in the direction of where Fallon is. We also might get Namari. Here's the thing. Namari said that, I feel like his name was Shuro, but the guy that wants to propose to Fallon, I feel like he might have got there before us, and maybe he already saved her. Like, is it possible that we see him jump into the sea and he's like, ta-da, I already saved her? I don't know, but I can't imagine she's dead, and it is past 9 o'clock. So let's say, if it's not there, we're just gonna take a break.
What would you like to eat
You sons of bitches.
By just
instead?
Why do you hate me, Netflix?
Then
Maybe it's 9:30. I mean, it said 8:30. I'm not incorrect. I found another website that said countdown to Delicious in Dungeon, and it said 9:30. It is 9:29. You guys want to see more of what I do? In the description of every video is a link for Patreon. You'll see these in full, done with the entire series. Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, My Hero Academia, Toriko, and Bleach. We're currently doing Shogun every week. I usually do it midnight on Mondays. It comes out Tuesday mornings by the time I edit it. This is being replaced by X-Men 97, which there's already 2 episodes out on YouTube and Patreon. Hundreds of other movies and shows, Jackie Chan movies every month, full unedited. In the description is the link for Patreon. We did Avatar live action, the animated show. If not, season 1, episode 12 of Delicious in Dungeon. It is there. It was 9:30. And why did it say there's another episode? Am I wrong? Is this not the finale? I don't know anything about life. Oh. Sometimes there's a thing in the beginning. Is it Fallon?
No.
It can't be Fallon.
Fallon.
Can she even be revived after all that?
No.
Heard that it's been done before, but aren't warg bones mixed in there too?
What if we have a warg Fallon?
The link link between the soul and body is fragile now. The more damage the
Is
body
it Fallon?
the
Is it
weaker
really
the soul's
Fallon?
bond. And revive her
We gotta
here.
bring a revival
But the
specialist here.
restoration requires more than twice the amount of calories for the damage. We have a large amount of fresh meat right here in front of us. I didn't want to scare anyone, so I never mentioned it. What I specialize in is actually ancient magic.
Black magic? That stuff is evil.
Magic doesn't have morality.
We gotta do what we gotta do.
Laios, it's your choice.
Black magic, that shit.
Marcel.
But I'm afraid it's not
Bring
her.
Marcel.
Are you guys insane?
What if we do
Using
it and it's
dragon
not
meat of all
her?
things.
I feel like
let's start.
dragon meat is the best you could use. That's gotta be the hardest shit to find.
So I'll start assembling her skeleton.
If it is Fallon and we resurrect her this
That's
way,
kinda unnecessary,
she
isn't
might
it?
Not if it helps
be
us avoid missing something or make.
Then we're looking at about 840 bones total.
And the spine is directly connected to the ribs.
Their curves don't look the same, so they're easy to tell apart.
And then we
We're
have the bones
putting
from
together
the
a
hands.
puzzle of a dead
Let's
body.
arrange them starting with the fingers.
This isn't a game, Laios!
Kinda is. I mean, it's not, but it
There.
is.
It's ready.
What a beautiful skeleton.
Not bad.
My fear is that she is gonna be dark Fallon or it's gonna not be her. That wasn't an option I thought. I didn't think
Okay.
this was an option. It's friggin' awesome, but I'm afraid from a distance, it is a woman. It does look like, kind of like Fallon. Is she gonna be dark?
Fallon!
Her airway's full of blood!
Cough it and roll.
Good.
She's vomiting up. Get her some clothes. I can't believe it's friggin' Fallon. I'm like in a state of shock. We just brought back.
Right, my armor. Sorry.
Marcel.
This is freaking nuts.
Marcel.
In my head, I'm literally thinking of every way this isn't Fallon. I just couldn't believe it was her. Now I'm worried she's gonna have dark.
Good to meet you, Fallon. I've heard a lot about you.
Thank goodness. I was so worried, Fallon. Yes. Good. Why is there a noose here?
That's the mark I got from tripping and hitting the edge of the stairs when I was a little kid. I actually feel good.
She might have got fully recharged because they said this wasn't your normal
I
dragon.
don't really remember much. That magic circle I saw. There was something that just didn't feel right about it.
Things will be fine if we
Fallon's
erase
like,
it.
you could sit down, please.
For the moment,
You may have rescued your sister, but the fact remains that we're still broke. So about that Marcel, the black magic she used.
She's right there.
Who are you calling a dark elf?
She's freaking definitely screwing with
Dark
him.
magic!
I'm researching ways that forbidden magic can be useful to people. Although I think it's for the best if we forget about the method of resurrection this time around, if that's okay.
Chilchuck is diving into that bottle. He's making
Like I
food.
said, he's prepping food.
Yeah, he's gonna make us a meal.
We gotta stop him!
What's happening?
I cut the fuel organ.
Oh, it's gonna
so
blow?
lighting a fire close to it is gonna.
I feel like Senshi should have known better. He's not dead, but we see his balls. Did Fallon?
Offensive magic?
Fallon did something. I can see the little orbs. Fallon did something, but maybe not
Fallon,
intentional.
Did you cast that?
I thought about needing to protect everyone, and then
Sure would have been real helpful to have when we were fighting the Red Dragon.
It's not going out, huh?
The fat inside the body is burning.
Not good.
Use it to cook.
Guess I'll use that fire to cook.
Yeah,
And add your choice of toppings, then place it inside the dragon.
it's like a
Cut off the
oven.
tip of the dragon's tail, dip it into some seasoning. It's ready.
Dragon tail soup and a roast red dragon with onion pizza.
tasty.
The funny thing is she's eating what she was just rebuilt from.
It's a bit like living armor, isn't it?
This color, this firm texture. So why are you comparing the taste of this to anything else? Is the flavor of a dragon!
Laios.
You may have realized by now, but
We haven't had the resources to buy food.
What kind of monsters did you eat? And how did you eat them?
Fallon
We
is
harvested
loving
vegetables from some golems, too. We did eat some living armor, though.
How'd you do
it.
that?
The mollusks.
Let's see.
Wouldn't it be a lot faster to show her the real thing?
Yeah, we got one in the sword.
Laios, why'd you keep this from us?
Should have had Namari appraise it for us. But tell everyone next time. If you lose the trust of those around you,
Yes.
you lose everything.
I figured after I'd made it harmless, I could just go on and use it however I felt like. You want to eat it?
Shellfish.
Yes, please. I'd love that.
Let's not eat our sword.
This house seems like it'll be comfortable to live in.
Why do they have 7 bathrooms, though?
Is it like a Seven
Since
Dwarves
I've slept
thing?
in a real bed.
Oh, is this evil children? What is happening? Tapping
Once we
into
get enough
ghosts
rest, then we'll
sometimes.
be on our way. She's letting us stay.
Does Lio see her?
Is that so? That's great.
Laios
Four of
didn't
them, so
see
we'll
her.
have to share a sleeping bag. I'm glad that you're with us again.
Seeing that little kid, there had to be a reason we did that. And Laios looked and there was an open door with no one there. Heal the scars. Look at that. Super magic.
This injury here.
Maybe if a certain sister of mine hadn't been reckless first, I wouldn't have even had that injury.
I honestly can't say I even recall what I...
He shakes the shit out of her and then hugs her. Fallon,
I won't do it again.
I'm very frightened for what is to come for you. Hi. All right, what has happened? Oh, who's this? I hear footsteps. I'm thinking Shuro. Look, is it him? All right, everybody, that is it for episode 12. Apparently, there is another episode. I did see there are like 20 episodes, but I was told that they were splitting it into 2 different sections, kind of like how Chucky did this year with season 3. But either way, it says right there March 28th, so there is an episode next week. Now I know it's 9:30 a.m. and not 8:30. Multiple sites told me 8:30. I should know better to not trust when I read things on the internet. But either way, at the very end there, Fallon walks up to where the circle was. That was Fallon, right? Or are there 2 Fallons? I don't exactly know what I just saw. That definitely seemed like our Fallon. But what was that other Fallon? Is it that we now have a dark Fallon and a light Fallon, so to speak, like a good and an evil? I don't know. Right now, that's my only theory on that. But before that happened, I'm thinking, holy crap. I was saying that there were 2 options. Either that wasn't Fallon or it was Fallon and she's dead. I guess I was right in the sense that that was Fallon and she's dead. But then we find out Marcel has black magic. But she's making it like, well, it's ancient magic. Don't just, label it black magic because magic doesn't have morality. Is that what she said? Either way, she's like, let's do this. It's up to Laios. Does Laios want to give it a shot? And we give it a shot. We get dragon meat. I wasn't even thinking that with them as well. They're like, usually we use goat or sheep or something like that. Why wouldn't you use dragon meat? Laios was even saying at the end there when we're eating it, like, oh my God, this is delicious dragon meat. We've been eating shitty monsters our whole way through this journey. Why wouldn't we use dragon meat? I would want to use the most amazing meat ever if I'm resurrecting my sister from death and we need tons of meat. We have hundreds of pounds of dragon meat right here. And they're saying, yeah, we'd have to go back to the surface, drag meat back. It'll probably go rotten by the time we get here. Everything is right where we need it. We have plenty of blood. You can see when we put her in the circle, there's gallons of blood being drawn to her, and we reform her body. At that point, I was thinking, are we resurrecting somebody that's not Fallon? We're assuming it's Fallon, but it's a human skeleton. You can't tell unless you're some sort of crazy, I don't know, scientist or something. You wouldn't know. I mean, you'd barely probably know if it was a female or a male skeleton unless you had knowledge of it. And clearly no one did. I mean, they had knowledge of how to reassemble it. They knew it was over 200 bones in the human body. We even reassembled wargs. But now I'm worried. I mean, maybe it is somebody else. Maybe like the Fallon that walked up at the end there looked dark. She had different eyes and she looked like something was up with her. But what if that was our Fallon coming back and what we just resurrected is somebody else or something else? Or it is, just like I said in the beginning, a light and a dark Fallon. I'm so happy there's an episode next week because if they ended on that, I'd have to probably read the manga or something because I need to know. But besides that, we have this whole bond. Everyone's, bonding with Fallon. Fallon has a crazy amount of mana and magic. If that person was a fake, then they probably wouldn't reveal all these things. And Fallon's like, yeah, something doesn't seem right. I don't feel the same. I feel super powered. Senshi goes and starts a fire by the dragon and explodes, and she instantly intervenes without even trying. She's just like, I thought of protecting, and I protected. So I don't know. But it's great there's another episode. It's great that we kind of got... now we have 2 Fallons. Unless I'm wrong and that was somebody else. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was another Fallon. I'm trying to think of anything else we need. Like we talked about the sword. Finally, Laios comes clean about the sword. Chilchuck was like, dude, stop lying. We need trust in the group. I'm shocked it took that long for Laios to say anything because the sword has come into play several times. And last episode, the sword basically got us all caught. And half of us died or got broken into pieces, and that is why Laios had to jump into the mouth and get his leg bitten off, and Marcel had to jump in and save the day. But I'm going to go edit this up because I talked for 10 hours in the beginning, and now that we got another episode next week, I could think about this and we could join in next week. I'm going to get up at 9:30 now and watch these live and then throw them up on YouTube and hopefully edit other ones up. I apologize that there are so few episodes on YouTube, but I was sick for 3 weeks and I was already like a month behind on this show. So they're all on Patreon in full unedited, as well as hundreds of other movies and shows. Peaky Blinders, Doctor Who, Person of Interest, My Hero Academia, and Toriko. We're doing Bleach as well. Shogun's coming on every week. This apparently is still going to be on every week. X-Men 97 is on Mondays. I'm going to be doing that. So we got a full schedule now. Jackie Chan movies every month. Avatar live action in full. All the animated shows. Percy Jackson, True Detective. Hundreds of movies and shows full unedited. In the description is the link for Patreon. If not, comments down below. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace!